everyone. My name is Kelly. I'm a dietitian here at Neighborhood Family Practice. It is actually the MyPlate's birthday. And if you haven't seen this guy, which has now been around for 9 years, you will see it on packaging, menus, posters in cafeterias and restaurants. It's just about everywhere. It is a tool that we use to help people make good decisions about making meals or the kind of foods that they're eating. What we know is that half of Americans have preventable chronic diseases that could be helped by eating a little better and getting more physical activity. So this is a really nice tool that we use just as a nice visual reminder of the 5 food groups. Now, interestingly enough, the 5 food groups have been around since 1956, and they really haven't changed, just the format has changed. So a very eye-catching part of this plate is that half of it is your fruits and vegetables is the biggest part of your plate. This is where you're going to get a lot of vitamin A and fiber. So things to try here are all your non-starchy vegetables like peppers, cucumbers, leafy greens. You're gonna get the most vitamin A out of the really dark green or deep orange vegetables. So carrots and squash work here too. Think about putting as many vegetables as you can on sandwiches, like lettuce, tomato, peppers, or creating a big salad, which we're gonna do today. Remember too that French fries are made from potatoes, which are a vegetable, but they're very starchy and they have a lot of fat and salt, so they might not be the vegetable you wanna choose all the time, but they do fit on this part of your plate. The fruit part of the plate is a little less than a quarter of your plate. This is where you're gonna get a lot of your vitamin C and fiber as well. The trick with fruits is to eat whole fruits more often. So although fruit juice could count as a fruit serving, the whole fruits have a lot more fiber and more nutrition in them, especially if you leave the skins on. Bananas, kiwis, melons, grapes, there's a lot of favorite fruits that fit in this food group. So please use the comment section because we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what your favorite fruits and vegetables are. Now the grain group is a little more than a quarter of your plate. This is where things like bread or a bun for a sandwich or cereal, rice, or pasta would fit. The trick here is to eat whole grains at least half the time. So buying a whole grain bun or bread, or maybe a brown rice, or even pasta made with whole grain are better options here. You're getting nutrients from here and fiber too. Quinoa is a whole grain. If you haven't tried that, that's something that you could try as a grain. And make sure you're taking a look at labels on grains. That's where you're gonna find out if it is a whole grain or not. So let's talk about the dairy group. Now the MyPlate shows it as kind of hanging off the side here as if it might be a glass of milk with your meal, but this can be cheese or yogurt too. What you're getting from the dairy group is calcium and vitamin D, and you're wanting 3 servings of dairy foods a day, so with every plate, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, if you're not able to drink cow's milk or eat things made with cow's milk, there are alternatives out there that can provide you with calcium and vitamin D. This could be rice milk, soy milk, almond milk. There are a lot of alternatives. Again, just look at the label, make sure that it's enough calcium. And last but not least is the protein group, which used to be called like the meat group, but so many more things fit in this protein group, things like beans, nuts, seeds, plus eggs, fish, and all of the meats that we're most familiar with. It's only about a quarter of the plate, so when you think about using things that are not necessarily meats, like beans, you could put those in chili or in wraps and burritos. You can pack nuts and seeds for a snack and they count as proteins. You could put any kind of meat or the beans or nuts and seeds on a salad or in a pasta dish. And consider doing that maybe once a week where you just focus on like a meatless Monday, for example, where your plate has all 5 food groups, but your protein is a non-meat alternative. Now, it's not always necessary for your plate to look exactly like this, where the food groups are all separate. I'm going to show you a couple dishes today that incorporate as many food groups as possible. And the one is a salad. So if you could imagine a salad with everything sort of layered on it, but incorporating all these food groups. This is a strawberry summer salad, and the base is spinach. So what it called for was 7 ounces of spinach. I just bought ready to go, ready to eat spinach from Aldi, and washed it off again and just made sure it's nice and dry as my base. And then other vegetables that I'm adding to the salad include mushrooms, and you could do this a couple ways. You could either make a salad for each person at your dinner table, or I'm gonna make just a whole salad for people to just take what they want out of here. So I'm adding mushrooms, which are a vegetable as well. And I mean, as far as half your plate, you've got lots of vegetables going for you here. Carrots are one of those dark orange ones we were talking about that have a lot of vitamin A. And you can see how already this salad's starting to look nice and colorful. And we've already got 3 vegetables represented here. And then water chestnuts, which are a vegetable maybe most people don't remember or think about, but we're adding those for a little bit of crunch, a little bit of variety to the salad too. So the base of this meal is a lot of vegetables. We've got a lot of layers of vegetables in here. I'm going to skip to the dressing now. Dressing, making your own dressing is great because you know exactly what's in it and you can make it low sodium or low sugar, whatever your needs are. This one is a very simple 3-ingredient dressing. It is 4 ounces of yogurt, so I used a non-fat Greek yogurt, and I did use the whole 5.3 ounces here. But any yogurt will do. If it's like a fat-free, that's better. And I put that in my blender with 1.5 cups of sliced strawberries and then some honey. And the honey's just for a little bit of sweetness. Remember, honey is still a sugar, so don't overdo it here, but to give it a little bit of sweet. And what we're gonna do is just put about half of this on the salad the way it is, as kind of a base. Got a lot of color here. But I wanted to show this dressing because it includes yogurt, which is part of where we're getting our dairy. So now we already have 2 food groups here. And then we're topping it with more strawberries, fresh strawberries. So now we're adding fruit to this salad and even more color, lots of vitamin C. And just because we can, we're going to add yet another food group. This would be part of your protein group. These are almonds that were already sliced, and they weren't that expensive. I happen to toast these almonds. You just put them in the oven for a couple minutes with some spray to toast them up, because I think that tastes a little better on a salad. But now we're adding protein right to our meal. And I could round this off, since I've got all 4 food groups here, with maybe like a low-fat muffin or a piece of garlic bread or whatever you would like to make this a 5 food group meal. Another idea for an item that incorporates all 5 food groups is this, my take on a Hawaiian pizza. And it's real simple. I'm using just a pita pocket here, and it happens to be a whole grain pita pocket because we did say that when we're choosing grains, choose whole grains at least half the time. It calls for just 2 tablespoons of a marinara sauce or your favorite pizza sauce. So you just spread that right on the pita. And another 2 tablespoons of mozzarella cheese. So now we've got grain, we've got some vegetable in the sauce, and we've already got dairy with our low-fat cheese. And then the 2 main ingredients here are pineapple and ham. And I bought pineapple canned in juice because there's less added sugar. Make sure you drain this really well though, so your pizza doesn't get wet, but just put as much pineapple as you like on there. And as far as ham, this was a small package that I got at the grocery store, very inexpensive, and it is in 1 ounce slices. And the recipe calls for just 1 ounce of ham per pizza. So I just sliced this up, didn't have to do much prep to it at all, but it provides our protein for our plate. So I put my pitas in the oven at 375. It took about 10 minutes for them to get nice and toasty and melt the cheese. And again, all 5 food groups are represented here. One thing you could do if you choose to is to move this up to under your broiler and let it get even more toasty. But As you can see, this is an example of all 5 food groups, but in a combination food where you're eating them all at one time. And this would actually be a really nice complement to a salad to make like a pizza and salad dinner. So there you have it, 2 really great examples of how you can make a meal to make your plate look a lot like the MyPlate with as many food groups as possible. And we would like to see your culinary creations come alive using the MyPlate. If you could take pictures of things that you've made, whether it's the salad or pizza or any other kind of item that has as many food groups as possible, just post pictures of your creations and tag NFP. And stay tuned on all of your social media platforms because NFP is going to provide more wellness videos, resources, and live food demos in the future.